Goodbye, everyone.
There we go. All right, we'll see Merely later. But now we got to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Puggles. We've been relegated to provisional Puggles yet again. They only let us cast the provisionals because we are so good, you know. So we're back. We're back casting some provisional action as we have Dissonance taking on Jesters here. Puggles, how you doing? How you feeling about being relegated to some more provisional bangers?
I've been relegated once from Challenger down to Prospect, so in the casting, it feels not as great because this is what I love to do. But it's more provisional, so it's pretty interesting, and it's a lot of fun to see these lower leagues, battle it out.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. It is interesting. We'll put it that way. We love our new provisional players. A lot of them kind of moving all over the place. Some moving down from novice, some new to the league here. But I know Puggles, last time we casted the first ever provisional matchup, it did give us some entertainment though. Our minds were blown. I know I know I had a little bit of fun, seeing some provisional moments. Which apparently there's a new emote coming. I don't know if it's coming to the Twitch channel or just to the Discord, but Creator's been working on provisional moment emote, so that could be coming. But we saw some provisional moments here, Puggles, and we got Dissonance here, and we got Jesters. What can you kind of tell us about these two teams, and maybe something that we could expect in tonight's action?
So let's just start off with the player that got the Player of the Week this past week, and it is Smiler JTE. As you've been saying. So, he plays for Dissonance. They're currently 2-0, going pretty well their first week. They had a 5-game series in their first one, and they swept the second team just right under the rug, not even close. Right now, they're the first overall seed in their division in the Western. And speaking of Western, they're going up against Jesters. Right now, they have a 1-1 record. They're the 4th seed in West, and they had a bit of a rocky start against Goats, but they were able to bounce back up against that Uprising team that gave Dissonance some trouble. So, this game, it's definitely going to be close. It seems like Jesters, they're getting their footing back, and Dissonance, they started out pretty hot. So both of these teams going to be really interesting to see what goes on here.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And looks like we kind of got in the lobby. I'm gonna get a prediction started up for the chatters. Oh, looks like prediction is going up from music as well. But I beat him to the punch, so a little bit too quick. Gotta be quicker than that, you know. But
Wow.
regardless, the predictions up here. You guys can get your predictions in. I know people are voting in the Discord as well. But Puggles, who you rocking with? Obviously, Dissonance undefeated so far, but Jesters, they had some performances as well this past week. The Discord, let's see, the Discord is rocking with. Ooh, they are close here, Puggles. They're split down the center here. 24 for Dissonance, 21 for Jesters, with the two newest logos in Nemesis just added here. Who are you taking? Who are you taking in this one, Puggles, between these two teams?
You know what? Both of these teams played the same team of Uprising and Jesters. They took it pretty handedly, 3-0, where, Dissonance, they had some struggles with it, and it went all the way to 5. They were able to close it out, but I mean, it's definitely going to be close. So I'm going to have to go with Jesters. They had the hot hand coming into this, and, they're looking pretty good. You gotta go with my boy Cow on Jesters, the big name from Novice last season. So yeah, I'm looking to Jesters, and I'm looking to Cowtarded to hopefully carry that team through this matchup.
Yeah, definitely, and he's going to be the one to watch for. He's leading the Provisional League in demos this season. 15 demos already this season, and only two matches here. And he's also leading in demos per game with 1.88. So we could see an explosive showing from him and the Jesters, but we will have to see. I think we got everyone in here, so we should be able to get them joined up and get things going on here. So we'll have to see. And on the other side, Puggles, obviously we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching for Smiler TJE here. Apparently an EU legend coming out on the pitch here. So we will have to see as we're getting things underway. The players are on the pitch, and we're getting things underway here for this best of 5 action in the Provisional League. We got Dissonance in the blue, and we got a goal coming through right away. Cowtarded, not even going to let me introduce the rosters. He is going to score early for the Jesters.
Yeah, so we're getting introduced to Cow right away as he takes it off the backboard, and great follow-up beating everyone in that blue color there, and nobody on the defense was ready, and maybe they're just not quite ready to play against a mechanical team like Cow yet. So we're gonna have to look to see for some adaptations from both of these rosters to start off.
Yeah, definitely be watching out here as the players here. Maybe we can introduce them now here. We got introduced to Cow there for the Jesters, but also joining him, Lasagna Man, the captain, and Koga, who I am struggling to recognize. I just looked at the rosters. Is this their new pickup in Ion Magen there? Or did they use a sub here? They may have threw a sub in there last minute on us. I'm not sure.
Time to take a look. I have no idea. Maybe he changed his name, and if so, that's very uncool of him.
That is true. Confusing the casters a little bit.
Oh, it is Ion Man. So that's him.
Okay, well, Coke is a lot easier to say. So
agreed.
I like that. I like that at least, Although we do have to get name changes submitted in player info update with a tracker, but here comes Smiler, TJE, the player of the week, the rating, and he's going to tie things up in one apiece.
Yeah, Lasagna Man coming back, and he just goes through the net a little bit too quickly. Smiler, he had all the time in the world to pick his spot, and he picks the bottom left there in a great spot, and ties it up just under a minute. It's gone by so far, and both of these teams, they're not struggling to score.
Yeah, they really are not, and that's a little bit different than what we saw last time, Puckles. That game, that series was something. There were hardly any goals scored. But this one, oh my goodness, Cow is looking for the shot, but can't quite find it. These two teams are looking for it. Here comes another shot. Koga coming through. And we also see on the pitch Cyclone and Bradish. Cyclone coming back from last season, I believe was on Diffusion at the end of things. But Bradish, new here, as the captain for Dissonance. And we'll definitely be keeping our eye on these two rosters here as we're all knotted up at one early on in game number one. Cyclone on the dribble. Cow looking for a touch there, but this one can be sent back into the corner. Lasagna Man clearing it out. Cyclone back for the touch, gonna pop it up high. This ball up in the midfield. Koga trying to get to it there, but can't make a touch. And something Puckles, I know we just touched on Koga being added to the roster here, but something we didn't really talk about is that the special provisional draft is, well, we have to hold that thought here. Cow is scoring again there as the feels backflip man happens.
Yeah, the feels backflip happens from at least one of them. The other guy just knew he wasn't getting up in time, so a little bit better rotations. They're both in the line there, but I mean, it's a great pop up from Cow, and if that's what it takes to score in this league, then I mean, just keep doing it if it's going to keep working.
That's true, but here comes the demo. The demo leader is back looking for some menacing plays there, trying to open up some space for his team. But back to my point here, Puckles, is there was a special provisional draft where this season started with 3-man rosters, but this Sunday, I guess this Sunday was yesterday. Yesterday we opened up a draft to add 4 people onto these rosters, and we're seeing the result out here on the pitch with Koga making an appearance for the Jesters.
Yeah, Koga recently added, and like you said, he's coming out pretty well. He's been in the right spots. He's been making the important touches that he needs. So, even if it's not showing up on the scoreboard, he's definitely being very impactful for his team, helping this team get transitions going and getting some clears.
We'll be interested to see how the 4-man rosters are going to change things in the Provisional League a little bit here as new rosters try to adapt. And, the Jesters have a little bit of roster change, usually starting with Wildcats Russ, but decided to go with Koga today, and right now they find themselves leading 2-1 here with the mid-30 left. Here comes another shot. Cow is putting in the hat trick. He is popping off here. He's got a third goal.
Yeah, a quick shot too, 68 miles per hour. And Cyclone, not quite wanting to go for that one, and he kind of left the net open a little bit, but a great shot there from Cow. It was just a rocket into the back of the net.
And Cow is really showing up here. Wasn't quite sure. We knew he was the demo leader, but he was also up there in some of these other stats that now are available for everyone to see here for this season. I know a lot of people are excited about that, and Cow is trying to put out a performance. He finds a dunk. Here comes Lasagna Man off the post. It's dangling in the front of the goal line, but it's saved away. And oh my goodness, Cow turned it a perfect setup there, but just couldn't quite finish it off.
No, he couldn't. It goes off both posts and then out, so calamity. But they're still up too as this Jesters roster looks to close out the game with only a minute left. A huge flick from Bradish, but the opportunities, they're going to need to come soon, and right now they just got to find the back of the net.
This ball floating up, Smiler trying to get up to it. That was another huge opportunity, and Dissonance starting to put on some pressure. Cow is up, though. Going to find a touch. Koga actually is going to be up there finding the touch. As this one sent off. Cyclone trying to stop it and turn it back around. Ball off the sidewall, under 30 seconds now in game one. Dissonance need to find two. Need to at least find one quickly here if they're going to want a chance. This ball popping up. Smiler with a touch, trying to get in midfield, but Cow is going to clear it away. And really a last chance here for Dissonance as they're forced to retreat. Bradish going to make a touch, but it's just dropping right down. Need to find one with time remaining. This ball up, Cyclone going to pop it. Looking for something, but this ball going the wrong way. And that is going to do it here for game number one. The Jesters, Puggle's going to come out here and take this one 3-1, led by Cow with the Hattie.
Yeah, Cow, he did majority of the work here, getting the 3 goals, 2 saves, leading his team in saves as well, and he had the most shots, obviously, as he gets the 5 shots as well, so he's looking amazing. He's coming out to play, and his teammates, they just need to pick up where he's leaving off. They had the one opportunity that didn't quite go in, but I think as long as Cow is hitting his targets like he is right now, I think Jesters are looking very good. Looking very good to take this series here.
Yeah, we knew, like you said, they had one common opponent. The Jesters swept Uprising. Dissonance went to game 5 against them. So that's the only real relation we have besides now what we're seeing on the pitch. And yeah, Koga fit in well, but Cow was the one there for sure in that one. So it looks like I think maybe restarting the lobby real quick here. So give us a second. But a great first performance there from the Jesters, Puggles, and that's how you want to start things out here. You're going against an undefeated team from last week against a Western Conference rival. And for these teams, Puggles, the conferences, there's no division, so conference matches, are always going to be super important for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you were saying, the league isn't quite big enough to support that many teams. So, but they're like the same as the conference games for any other league. So they're very important in order to have those tiebreakers going into late of the season. So, very important to see where your seeding ends up and who you're going to be playing and once playoffs roll around.
Yeah, and definitely these teams trying to avoid the play-in tournament, which is still a thing in Provisional. It may have less teams, but the play-in tournament is still hanging around there in this one. So all these teams will make the play-in tournament at least, but the top 4 will guarantee themselves a playoff berth. So you get to avoid the play-in tournament, which I know all these teams are going to be hungry and fighting to do so. As you don't want to put yourselves in, you want to keep yourself away from as many win or go home scenarios as possible. So it's definitely something to keep our eyes on here. As the season is still young, only 14 matches, but still every match, I guess, Puggles, that's the one thing, less matches, every match just becomes even more important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For all these other leagues that have many seasons or many weeks, I think it's like 16. It's just when it comes down to this much smaller, every game means so much more. Every series becomes infinitely more important, and taking a big upset here for Jesters over the number 1 seed right now in their conference is going to give them a lot of confidence, no pun intended, moving on to later games.
Definitely will, and we're getting back into things here as we are into game number 2. We just saw the Jesters take game number 1, led solely by Cow's hat trick, and we're going to see if they can take a 2-0 series lead or Dissonance can find a way to battle back here in this game number 2. And Puggles, as we get into things, as here comes Smiler to send this one up. I'm curious, who are you looking for on this Dissonance roster to maybe step up and kind of combat Cow and give their team a little bit some life in game 2?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the obvious answer has to be Smiler, as he was the player of the week last week, and he was looking pretty good in game 1. Not quite able to find all of his marks, but it really comes down to his 2 other teammates to try and support him, be in the right spots, try to set up those opportunities. This one, it's just going to roll in. Bradish pops it over everyone, and nobody on Jesters thought it was going in.
Yeah, Bradish just sends this one towards the net. Koga can't quite get to it, and Bradish doesn't even touch it again. It just goes right in there. So Dissonance going to find the lead, and I believe it's their first lead of this series, and an excellent start to game number 2 for them. Is now Koga on the dribble here, trying to make something happen. Gonna find a 50 through, but only sent off to the side. Bradish popping this one up. Smiler gonna connect out in the midfield, but Cal is waiting and he is shooting. He read that one like a book and put it in the back of the net for his 4th of this first 2 games.
Wow, a great shot there. As you know, the mistouch there comes out from Scott or Smiler, and it just goes right out to Cal, and Cal's itching to put that one in right above the defender. The defender caught flat-footed, and now a very quick tie-up, and you know, we're back in the same place as we were last time with just under a minute gone.
Yeah, we saw a very close game until the end, and here comes Bradish putting it in the back of the net, and you know, it'll take a little bit of a different turn this time as Bradish finds the second.
Yeah, but you gotta look at that great bump from Cycle as he just takes out Cow in the back, or in the net there, and you know, nobody else was ready for it on the Jesters defense. They had all their trust in Cow, and unfortunately he just got sent to the Shadow Realm there. And now, you know, a great response here from Dissonance to take the lead here.
Definitely. As Bradish trying to show Cow maybe he can find one more, can show he can get a hat trick as well, but 2 big goals for his team here. This game number 2 as this ball gonna bounce off Smiler. Koga gonna find a touch. And Cyclone gonna leave it for Smiler. Smiler chasing it down. Koga send it back in the Dissonance half. Bradish gonna get it by 1, but Koga waiting, shooting, but Smiler to the corner now. So we reach under 3 minutes remaining in this game number 2. Dissonance find themselves in the lead, looking to tie this series up here as they send it back in the zone. Cow on the touch here. Here goes Smiler looking for a shot, but Lasagna Man is back just in time as he's able to clear that one away. Cyclone up in the midfield. Koga looking for the shot. This ball popping up high, but the Jesters a little bit too far back, but Cow gonna make a touch here. This one's sent down, and you know, Puggles, after watching Cow last season, he was on Genesis at the very end. He looks very mechanical. I know he technically dropped down a league to Provisional, but he's looking pretty mechanical here.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he's very speedy in the air too. Something that I've noticed between both games that we've played or that we've casted is that the Provisional League doesn't really get up in the air as fast and as often, but when you have a player like Cal that's willing to go up super high towards the ceiling, you know, it really just makes it so much easier for your 2 teammates to try and play the ground game and just play smart and, you know, hopefully get those open nets when they come up from Cal.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and you're right, we did see that. Oh my goodness, here comes Lasagna Man looking for the shot. Koga trying to keep it in. Cow diving, looking for the 50, but Cyclone, a menace there in that car. I don't even remember what that car is called as Cow's taking a shot towards the net. Maybe we can get some quick research. That's a throwback car, Puggles. That's back when they introduced Wasteland, I remember.
It sure is.
I don't remember what the car is called. Do you happen to remember? Is it the Ripper?
I do know. It is called the Ripper, yes.
Okay.
When they brought in Wasteland and they had that DLC way back in the day when the first came out.
Now that is a throwback, and you don't see that car actually almost ever. So Cyclone rocking and trying to will his team here to this Game 2 victory. So we're down to a minute remaining. Here comes Bradish looking for the hat trick. Can he find it? No, a huge save on the goal line. Koga was ready for it. I thought for sure that was the hat trick there for him, but a huge save.
Yeah, a big save there from Jesters, keeping this game within 1. That's so important as they need to tie it up here to at least force overtime. But, you know, if that goal goes in, they needed to score with time remaining. Now they can score with 0 seconds left as long as the ball stays up, and that's just so important here moving into the final seconds.
We're down with 30 seconds remaining. Jesters trying to find one. This ball back in the Dissonance zone. Lasagna Man can't connect. Cow trying to keep the pressure, throwing it high off the backboard. Lasagna Man looking to find a read off the backboard. A little bit awkward, but Koga not quite ready to dive in on that one as Dissonance wasting away valuable time. Back in the Jester zone, Cyclone gonna make a touch, still keeping this one of the Jesters. Gotta try to turn it around. Lasagna Man, a savior medal, but Jesters are so awkward, and I'm pretty sure they're starving to boost here. Koga gonna try to take it the length. This one off the backboard. Bradish looking for the hat trick, but he can't find it. The ball hanging on the edge, that close to a hat trick, but it doesn't matter. Dissonance shuts it down. They get the game win. No hat trick, but they will tie this series up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, Bradish, he almost got it this time, but still an amazing performance. He had he had a total of 2 very close chances. That last one there with the double, and another one that he just put right on top of Koga. So unfortunately, that one didn't go in either. But Dissonance, this is the response they needed. Bradish, he's looking good. He's trying to step up, take his team forward in the season, try and keep them undefeated. And Jesters, we need to see Cow step up again, or Lasagna Man. He had 2 phenomenal opportunities, one right off the start of the game with that air dribble that he just wasn't able to find the back of the net. And you really got to be hitting those shots, especially in this league where opportunities don't come very often.
Yeah, definitely so here. And yeah, we talked about wanting to see Smiler step up, but it was Bradish who had the huge performance there. The captain trying to will his team here back in this series, and a great performance from him. And now we're heading into a crucial game number 3, Puggles, where whoever wins this one is going to put themselves 1 win away from taking this series. So I'm curious here. Do you think, I know you kind of mentioned you want to see something from Lasagna Man or maybe Cow step up? What do you see? What are you seeing from Koga? I want to bring it over to him. Obviously, the new player on the roster, and they probably only played with him very recently. But do you think they stick with Koga here? I know they have been playing with Wildcats Russ for a lot of the season here. Do you think Koga, they're going to stick with him?
So far, I think he's been serviceable. I have not seen Rust play yet, so I can't tell you which team I would prefer to watch for this specific roster. But Koga, he's definitely been in the right positions at the right time, setting up his 2 teammates, and hopefully, providing very good, comms, something behind the scenes that we can't really tell. And those are just equally as important, if not more important, than the play that is out on the field. Because if you're losing and you're with a guy that has terrible mentality, then you're just going to have a terrible time as compared to when you're winning with someone that's just has a great mentality.
Yeah, definitely so. And they are going to stick with Koga. I was a little bit curious to see if they make a change here, but they're going to stick with it. That one almost found its way through from the corner. And yeah, that's something these players, have yet to deal with. They had an entire preseason with 3-man rosters. They had the first 2 matches with 3-man rosters, but now with 4-man rosters, they got a little bit of roster controversy in pretty much all of these teams, whether that be good, bad, whatever, however you may feel about it. It doesn't give these teams something to think about, and they're going to rock with it. The Jesters will, as they were able to take game 1, but dropped game number 2, as now this ball up in the midfield. Koga got to find the save, send this one back. The Smiler finds a touch. Cow gonna win this one out. Cyclone off the sidewall there. Lasagna Man pop this one up. A huge demo from Cow. Could open up some space. Koga is there looking for the shot off the backboard. Koga for the double tap. Oh my goodness, Koga! He puts it in and what a double tap.
Wow. I don't think we'll ever see that ever again in Provisional. What a double there. The angle so spot on. It's such a small angle to hit, and he makes it look so easy, and you got to give credit where credit is due to Cow as well. Getting that demo, confusing the back line, but just a great double to put it away, and now we got to look to Dissonance to respond once again here in this series.
And now I feel like I got to apologize, Puggles, for asking if they should sub Koga out here and go back to what they played with the first 2 matches, as we got rule 1 here, Smiler and Lasagna Man, so momentary 2v2. But a Koga really showing up there and putting out a performance. This one shot towards the open net. Cow is going to get another goal, a second on the board in the momentary 2v2.
Yeah, great opportunity here from Cow. Just reading that the 2 players were pushed up a little bit too far, as we see the players paying respects to each other for the rule 1. So class all around from both sides here.
You gotta respect the rule 1 compliance there, as you do. And they stuck it out there, sticking nose to nose, allowing the 2v2, and well, good karma for both of them, I guess. as the Jesters find themselves up 2-0, looking for something else. Koga finding a dunk. This one sent off to the side. Cow on the pop here, trying to set it up. Lasagna Man diving in, can't connect. Cyclone looking to clear it out as we're approaching the halfway point of this game. The Jesters holding on to this 2-goal lead, and we're going to have to look to see if Dissonance, they've had some shots here, Puckles, but just haven't quite been able to connect with the back of the net yet.
No, not quite. They're only at 3 shots right now, all of them from Bradish. So we got to see his 2 teammates step up a little bit more, Cyclone and Smiler. Smiler, he just got Player of the Week, and he's been looking a little quiet so far, so we got to look to him to hopefully step up, as Cyclone almost going to put one away, but it's going to get saved away there by this green team.
That one, it almost looked like it was a calculated fake there. They drive past it and let the second man shoot. But it doesn't quite work out here. Dissonance, they're trying to put the pressure on. Smiler can't connect. This one sent back in Dissonance half. The Cyclone taking to the sidewall, can't quite collect that boost and the ball. As Koga going to send it back in as the time starting to tick down here for Dissonance. Down by 2 goals. And still looking for the first one of this game 3. It's a series tied up 1-1. Lasagna Man, oh my goodness, he's pulling out his own teammates there. A little bit sketchy. He's trying to go for the back pass. He's going to set it down. Bradish got to race back there just in time to get the touch, but that was almost a dangerous moment there. Fortunately, Lasagna was able to get under control.
Yeah, he absolutely balled Koga there, and Cow. Oh, never mind. Lasagna Man, he's going to come up strike early, as, the defense, they're just kind of waiting around. Cyclone trying to imitate Lasagna Man himself, and nobody was quite ready for Lasagna Man to just dive in and get that huge dunk there.
Yeah, and you could see Smiler wasn't quite sure what to do with the back pass, and he wasn't expecting, like you said, Lasagna Man to put the pressure on, and the pressure worked there as a 3-0 lead now here in game 3. This ball popped up. Oh my goodness, Bradish just bumped into the ball. That's unfortunate there. But a huge bump from behind puts him out of position and causes an error in touch. I'm not quite sure who got that bump, but you have to reckon it might be Cowtarded, the demo leader there, looking for another one. But now the final 40 seconds, Koga with a double tap off the backboard there. This one sent back. Cow can make a touch to the corner. Dissonance got to try to find 3 here, but with the time dipping under 30 seconds, they may just have to regroup on Forbidden Temple for game 4, Puggles.
Yeah, this game, it's not looking too great, and right now this is when you really want to get a goal, get some really good offensive pressure, make sure you don't give up anything that's too unnecessary, and try and feel and prod your way to a goal to see what will hopefully work in the following game here. As time is going to tick down. It is going to go to Jesters here as they take a 2-1 series lead, and now they have the opportunity to close it out here on Forbidden Temple, like you stated.
Yeah, as the ball finally touches the ground, and Jesters 1 win away here from taking this series, looking to shut down the undefeated run of Dissonance, who you started out the season strong at 2-0, but the Jesters here looking to battle back there. As this one, everyone got on the board, Puggles, for the Jesters there. They all contributed pretty much evenly. Koga had an assist and a couple saves, got a little bit higher score in that last game, but all in all, Jesters, when you got everyone contributing like that, it can be kind of scary and kind of difficult to stop when the other team has just got it all cooking.
Yeah, it really is difficult to stop, especially if you're on the defending side for Dissonance. They only had 4 shots that entire game, so they were on the back foot for most of it, and those opportunities that they had, they just couldn't quite take advantage of. So you really got to look to them to try and break out a little bit more and just get more pressure onto this Jesters defense, because that last game they weren't tested very much.
Yeah, they really weren't there on that one. The saves were even, but I do agree with you that they weren't tested enough on the back end, and I think could see a couple more shots come through from everyone on the board. Bradish had those 3 shots, Cyclone with 1, so really not too many shots on net. So as we head into game 4 on Forbidden Temple, Dissonance, they gotta dig a little bit deeper here. They gotta find that offense that they had in that second game, and again, it's kind of crazy, because a lot of times we see these series that may go the distance, going back and forth. We saw Jesters win game 1, we saw Dissonance win game 2, and then Jesters win game 3, and now it's time for Dissonance to answer back, and they're trying to put the pressure on early there with a demo, but not quite able to find anything as we're underway in game 4.
Yeah, we are, and if you really want to look to Dissonance, they gotta score first here. I say it so many times, and people are gonna get so upset. You gotta score first, and Koga with the huge air dribble from his own half. He's looking to do that, and he's giving his team the early advantage here.
And Koga, the pickup there from the special draft there, as the 4th player on the roster, they had room to pick him up with, Wildcats Russ being, I believe, only 907 on the MMR wise, so they had room to pretty much pick up anyone that they wanted, and they found a diamond in the rough here in Koga, and that just goes to show you that there can often, Puggles, be times that there are just free agents sitting there who could absolutely peak on kids if you give them the chance.
Yeah, Koga definitely making that a statement, but I don't even know what happened there. It's just whiff after whiff here. Provisional moment. Put it in the chat. I know we don't have an emote yet, but 3, 4 misses, and Smiler just has an open net to put it away at.
That's what we're looking for, Puggles. That's what we wanted to see. Some provisional moments there as everyone goes flying by. We had a lot of those in the first ever provisional match. Not so many in this one. I'm impressed with the performance and I guess the difference between those teams that we saw and these two teams. So shout out to these guys for putting on a good performance. Not quite in that moment, but Smiler going to find, I believe, their first goal of the series as they're trying to set up another one. Here goes Bradish, but it's going to be blocked away by Cow. And now Dissonance answered right back. And, Puggles, if you're not going to score first here in this game where you need to win, able to answer back almost immediately is huge for the momentum's sake.
Yeah, it really is, but they're still working at a disadvantage. Scoring first just allows you more time to, you figured out what worked one time. Maybe you're able to repeat it again. In this case, Koga just mechanically outdoing everyone. And I think Jesters, they have that capability to out-mechanic Dissonance here, but they're just going to need to find those opportunities and make them count.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about capitalizing when you get the chance here. And in Game 4 and Forbidden Temple, we need to see some of that and see if some more Forbidden Temple craziness happens, like the 4-mana whiff there, leading to the Smiler goal. Time runs on. Lasagna Man off his backboard, going to clear this one out of the midfield. Koga sending it down. Cyclone controlling in the corner here. Cyclone up, looking to find an air dribble, going to find a 50. He's trying to find a second one, but Lasagna Man diving through. Bradish going to find a touch, but this ball is dangerously in the midfield. Here comes Cow, but it runs out of boost there on the aerial. Had the speed, but just not enough boost. And as we approach halfway here and pass halfway, Puggles, we are still tied at 1 apiece. Both these teams looking for some good opportunities, but it seems like the Jesters starting to get a little bit more of them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been threatening the net a little bit more than Dissonance has, as they just have the ball possession so much. And Koga looking for another goal, but not able to find it as Cyclone is able to stand big in the net. And no, Lasagna Man, he gets a cake of a goal here as he just pinches it off the sidewall and it goes in.
Yeah, and I think they lost. Who was that? I know Smiler's last one recently. I think they lost Cyclone on the rotation there. It just got caught a little bit out. Wasn't expecting a pinch right back in the middle, as that one is going to go back of the net for Lasagna Man, and a tough way to lose the lead here, or lose the tie. But with under 2 minutes remaining, Dissonance, they got to find a way to battle back and fight for another goal here, Puggles, with 140. I guess what do you got to do, Puggles? What are you telling your boys if you had a chance to give them some advice in this final minute and a half?
They got to get out of their own half, Rocket Man. Put it simply, they need to get it out, but right now they're being starved boost-wise. They're being starved possession-wise. They just need to get one big clear, and they're pretty much looking at a great opportunity to hopefully at least counterattack and set up some pressure of their own.
Yeah, and the Jesters are doing just the opposite here. They're trying to give them no space to breathe as the ball is finally going to leave the Dissonance half, but only momentarily. As I said, that Cow keeps it back in. Lasagna Man with the demo. They are trying to suffocate this Dissonance squad here and send this series to bed. as now we're down to 50 seconds remaining. Dissonance on this one. Smiler gonna find a touch. Finally into the zone. Smiler trying to set it up, but Koga gonna find a touch. This ball out of midfield. Cow gonna send it down. 40 seconds now. Dissonance gotta find something. They find a demo there. That's gonna open up some space. Here comes Bradish. What can Bradish do here? Trying to get around. Koga can't quite connect. He's looking for the hook shot, but wasn't able to connect. Now we're under 30. This ball up in the midfield. Cow sending it in. Cyclone on the control here. Lasagna Man finds a 50. This ball sent back. Jesters racing back, trying to defend. Bradish is up. The shot towards it. Cow finds a touch, but Cyclone gonna try to turn it back in as the final 10 seconds here of this game. Dissonance need to find a goal. The first OT. This ball up. Koga, he's sending it a long way. And Dissonance gonna need a miracle. Gotta take it the length of the pitch. Here comes Cyclone trying to take it up. A Cow dives in, sending it back in the Dissonance corner. They can't connect to it, and the Jesters are gonna steal this one away in game 4, and they're gonna take down the undefeated Dissonance. Both now going to 2-1 on the season, Puggles.
Yeah, they are. And Jesters, they looked great doing it. You know, they had standout performances from every player here, as Lasagna Man, he's the one to take it this game. And I mean, just outstanding performance individually from everyone. And I mean, GG's all around. But Dissonance, they didn't look too bad losing there. They definitely have a few, like 1 or 2 things to work on in my mind. But I'm very confident that this team is going to be, at least play-ins, because everyone makes plans. But
yeah,
you're definitely a team to be looking out for in the upcoming games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. To go 2-0 on the first week, it's still impressive. Unfortunately, they fall tonight, but the Jesters, they just had that dog in them, Puggles. They were feeling good tonight, and you know, I think pretty much we saw everyone contributing, and I think that was probably the difference there. We need to see a little bit more, I think, from Cyclone and Smiler to step up for their team in that one. And, you know, sometimes it's just not your day, you know, and that happens. That's why you got the regular season. That's why you get a chance to play in the postseason, so a chance to regain going forward. But, yeah, that is going to wrap it up for this one here as the Jesters take down Dissonance here 2-1. So congratulations to them on the victory. And yeah, we are going to be heading to a short break. But when we come back, we are heading to our next matchup, the 8:45 on the night. We have the Titan League. We're back at it in the Titan League. Venganza making their second straight stream appearance here after taking down Vanguard last Wednesday. They're back on the stream now to take on the Godfathers, who have put together a great season so far. I know Sans is excited and has been excited about this Godfathers roster. They're 4-2 on the season, taking on Venganza, who are 5-1. That matchup is coming up in just a few minutes, so make sure you stick around and come back for that one, and we will see you guys in a few.
Bending over backwards just to let you in. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have.